Hello and welcome back. My name is Catherine and this is episode 3 of Branding Basics for Beginners, the free video series where I walk you through the process of crafting a cohesive and compelling brand identity. In this episode, we're going to get clear on your brand style. We'll first decide how you want your brand to feel before we put together a mood board that will inspire all of your future branding opportunities. It's so important to define and compile all of these visuals so that you're always on brand. This creates a sense of consistency and recognizability within your brand, and once done successfully, should attract your ideal customers. As you go through this video, you should really keep in mind your target audience and your customer muse. This will help you define a style that you know will appeal to your target audience and hopefully attract potential customers. If you haven't yet defined your customer muse, you should check out the last video that I created and download that worksheet to make it easier for you as you go through this video. I'll link it down below. We're going to go through this video in 3 stages. We're going to define your touch points, we're going to do a bit of a brainstorm, and then we're going to create your mood board. As I've mentioned in my previous videos, you do not have to be an expert or have any previous branding experience to create a successful brand. These steps and these videos have been broken down into easily digestible sections with clear guidelines that you can do from the comforts of your own home with whatever resources you have available to you at the time. To begin, you're going to need to make a list of all of your brand touch points, both physical and digital. It's important to know where your brand will be featured as it'll influence your choices. These may be items such as your business card, your letterhead, if you have a newsletter, if you create gift certificates or have brochures or flyers. This could be your packaging or your storefront. If you create presentations, the list goes on. Next up, you're going to do a brainstorm of how you want your brand to look and feel. Firstly, you're going to create a list of 10 words that you want associated with your brand. These words should be positive and expressive, and try not to use multiple words with the exact same meaning. So maybe pull out your thesaurus or ask your family and friends for their assistance, what they think of your brand. Then you need to decide what are the top 3 words out of that list that you feel best represent your brand and that you want associated with your brand. Highlight them, put them on a sticky note, make them your screensaver, anything that will keep them top of mind whenever making a design decision. And then I want you to create a list of 10 words that you do not want associated with your brand. It's always helpful to make a list of the words that you don't want because it allows you to get even more clear on the words that you do want associated with your brand. For example, you may want your brand to be fun, but you don't want it to be childish. Or you want it to be minimal, but you don't want it to be boring. This activity allows you to get even more clear on what it is that you do want. Having these 3 keywords makes the next step of this process even easier. As I said, I've created a worksheet and I've linked it down below so that it's easier for you to go through these steps with me. Our next step is to create your mood board, and this can be done in many ways. You can do it on Pinterest, or you can download images onto a separate document, or you can even create a physical collage. It's whatever works for you. There's no right or wrong. You now need to gather all of those images that represent the look and feel of your brand. This is how you find and define your style. These images can be anything that evoke a feeling that you want reflected in your brand. It's easiest to begin searching by using those 3 words that you defined in your brainstorm. Then you can go on to add words like design or layout or color or branding to refine your search. You can also look for paint chips that you have around your house, or pieces of fabric, or photography that you've also taken. Don't feel limited to just searching on the web. Once you've gathered all of your mood board content, it's time to put it together. There is no right or wrong way of doing this. Here are a few ways that I put together the exact same images in different layouts to give you an idea of how you may choose to put together your mood board. You do this however feels right for you. Some items I suggest to include on your mood board would be your logo. This can be your primary or your secondary logo. A color palette, and this can be done by just creating shapes and filling them with your desired colors, or placing paint chips onto your physical collage. I always recommend that you begin with a smaller color palette, say 3 to 5 colors. Ideally a primary color, a secondary color, and then a more neutral color. But you're free to have as many as you see fit. You can pull colors from your images and play around with different combinations to see what works for your brand. You can also include different font variations, Maybe start with 2 different fonts at this time, one for a headline and one for body copy. You don't need to limit yourself to those 2, but it's a great foundation to start with to create that consistency within your brand. You can include any graphic elements such as icons or patterns or textures that you want as a part of your brand identity. And that's pretty much it. You've created a mood board that reflects your brand style. Once you've compiled all of these items, you'll realize how much easier it is to make design decisions for your brand and create that consistency across all of your touch points. Your brand will now be easily recognized and will have a very professional visual identity. This is also a really great starting point if you decide to hire a professional brand designer or stylist, because it gives them a clear idea of your brand style. If you decide to put together your own brand mood board, I would love to see it, so please tag me on Instagram or send it to me in a direct message. Now, to wrap up this video, as usual, here are my 3 favorites. My first favorite is PAZ Cold Brew coffee. It is such a treat for me. I think it's absolutely delicious. It's actually a product that's particularly special to me because it's my sister-in-law's brand and the packaging was designed by my best friend Nick. So it's a favorite for a few reasons. My second favorite is an app that I use every single day, and it's Timehop. It syncs all of your photos and videos across all your platforms, and then it gives you a memory of what you did on that day. And I love the daily throwback. And my third favorite of the week is my air fryer. I've been using it for the last few years with pretty basic items, but I've been experimenting a lot more recently and I'm having a lot of fun. And it's a healthy alternative to frying and is a really easy cleanup. So I'm loving my air fryer. And that's it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're interested in more content from me. And if there's anything you'd like to see in particular, just leave it in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Bye.